Alright guys, so here's the review of the Merkur Decompression 60 style mechanical watch, aka the Rainbow Watch. So this is the only one of these I've seen on AliExpress with this kind of dial. So you may have seen it on other more expensive watches, but as I say, this is the first kind of budget version I've seen. So I had to check it out. So been trying it out for a while. Full disclosure, I was sent the watch for free. Don't have to send it back, but you know the score. So I'm going to change the way I do my reviews, going to keep it 100% honest all the time, no matter what. So question is, are you interested in this watch? Is it any good? Let's jump right in and find out. So here's the packaging it comes in. So you've got that Merkur branding on the top there. And it is a really nice case actually. Multicoloured one as well. Do like it a lot. And it's actually useful as well. Far better than having just a useless box. So we'll quickly go over what else you get in here. Little tag that came on the watch. The warranty code, which is actually signed and dated, which is good. Cleaning cloth, which is branded, and then just a book with all the different watches and instructions, etc. So here is the actual watch, and as you can see, something pretty different, not your usual watch you see. So we actually get a couple of different options with this. So with this one you can see I've got a leather strap, but you can also get it with a beads of rice bracelet as well. But it is a nice leather strap, got the Merkur branding. You also get quick release as well, and it is genuine leather. Unbranded buckle though, nice stitching. Again, that vintage kind of look. To go with the head of the watch. Got a nice bit of curvature on that case as well, do like that a lot. So got a polished case on the sides, and then on the top it's brushed. Nicely done. Nothing too fancy, simple but effective. And it does catch the light nicely on those polished sides. When it comes to that bristol, you can see we've also got a little bit of curvature to that too. Interesting bezel. So it's a bi-directional, friction-based bezel, but it's definitely not one you're going to knock. It needs a little bit of effort to move it. And then because of that, you don't really have to worry about it being misaligned, because you can line it up pretty much any way you need to. Exactly. And as I say, needs a little bit of effort to do it, so you won't be able to knock it. So before we talk about that dial a bit more, let's talk about the dimensions on this. So we've got a diameter of 38mm. The reason I'm measuring it from the bottom is because the bezel actually sticks out a little bit past that. So the case is 38mm, but when it comes to the bezel, if you include that, it's more like 40mm. So they do actually do another version which doesn't have this bezel, so that's probably going to be just the 38mm, the whole thing, because again, as I say, it won't have that bezel, extending it to 40mm. Then when it comes to the lug width, 20mm, thickness, 11.4. Then the all-important lug to lug is coming in at 44.9. So really compact lug to lug on that. Let's quickly test whether we've got sapphire crystal using the trusty diamond selector 2. And no, we don't have sapphire crystal, it's just a mineral on this one. So they kind of decided to stick with the vintage kind of retro crystal over the sapphire. Some people might not like that. I think I'm probably leaning that way. I'd prefer sapphire, to be honest. But I guess it fits with the aesthetics of the watch. So now, as I said, let's talk about that dial a bit more. So it's a really colourful dial, plenty going on there. So you're probably wondering, how does this work? Because I know I was thinking that as soon as I picked this one up. So you can see at the top there, we've got meters and feet, and then numbers underneath the both of them. So if we go to the meters side, so for example, say you were diving at 40 meters for 45 minutes. So you come round to the 45 minutes, and then you've got 60 there, so you'd have to stay down for 60 minutes before you come up to avoid getting the bends. And that would be the way they would do it back in the day. So, pretty interesting. Obviously not going to be used now, really. There's more up-to-date methods, more effective and reliable methods than using your watch. But that would be the way they used to do it. So when it comes to the rest of the dial, you can see it's fully printed, nothing applied. But it is nicely done. No issues with the printing at all. And it is just a cool looking watch, really, isn't it? Cool looking dial. So when it comes to the movement on this, let's go into a bit more detail on that. So it's not a movement I've come across before this one. It's the Fanzai M01D. So apparently this is a movement that was made in collaboration with a few other factories that make Merkur and a few other watches. So they all got together, decided to make their own movement, from what I've been told. So the specs on this, it's got a 40-hour power reserve, it's got a beat rate of 21,600. So as I say, just a mechanical movement, not automatic. So hand wind only. Quickly show you that in action, works well, not had any issues with it at all. And then obviously there's no date position on this, just the one position as you saw earlier when I pulled it out. So no ghost date or anything. All seems to work well. I've actually got another Merkur watch that's using the same movement that I'll be reviewing soon as well, but it's a completely different kind of look. If you're not keen on this one, so keep your eye out for that. So when I was talking about the decompression thing not being all that useful for this particular watch, that is because the water resistance on this particular one is only 50 meters. So you can't really go swimming. And obviously with it being a leather strap, you're not going to want to. It's more just the look. Because as I said, you're not really going to realistically use this anymore. It's just a cool vintage kind of look. At least I think it is. Let me know what you think. I know this might be a bit much for some people, this kind of dial, but I really like it. So now let's quickly check out what the lume's like on it. So you can see we've got a little bit there already, but let's charge it up, give it a proper chance. See exactly what we're dealing with. And there we go. So it's a pretty cool lume profile as well. But again, we haven't got a lume pip, so you're not going to be using this diving. But it isn't really designed for that. It's just to kind of give you that kind of look and that feel. But I do like the lume profile, as I say. So we've got lume on those two circles, on the inner one and the outer one. Then the hands. And then we've also got them on the markers around the outside too. So it is a really cool look. It's not the best lume in the world. With it being a fully printed dial, you don't really expect that. And again, with this kind of style of watch, that's not really what it's about. It's not a diver. It's just aping the look of one. So, lasts an okay amount of time. Again, it's not as bright as it's appearing on camera. With the naked eye, it's a little bit dimmer, but it's okay. So, I've not actually been wearing it on this strap all the time. I've actually had it on another strap that I'll show you in a minute as well. So I'll do a wrist shot showing you on both. Let me know which one you think is best. So this is what it looks like on my 7-inch wrist. And it is something a little bit different, as I say. Definitely got that vintage kind of aesthetic going on. That retro kind of look. That slightly domed crystal. That really cool decompression dial. Although you're not really going to use it, but again, it just looks good, I think. That interesting bidirectional bezel. Friction-based one. Not something you see a lot often. But again, I think it just suits the watch. And again, nice leather strap, nice and comfortable, works well. But I have been wearing it on something else, so I'll quickly show you that now. So I've been wearing it on this Milanese strap from Strapsco, which I think suits the watch really well. Do like it a lot on this. If you're interested in picking this one up, I'll leave a link to it down in the description, because I think it suits the watch well, as I say. But let me know, what do you think? Which do you prefer? Or would you be going for the beads of rice bracelet instead? But that's it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.